All right, today we are starting Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is all about congruent triangles and proving that triangles are congruent and stuff like that, okay? So, corresponding parts, that means parts that are congruent to each other, that match together, okay? So when it says list all corresponding congruent parts, it wants all of them in the triangle. So it wants all angles and all sides. So we're going to have 3 of each, so altogether we have 6 different things. Okay, so we need to match it. Now let me show you a little trick. Reading that there, that is a congruency statement of the 2 triangles. It says triangle JKL is congruent to triangle RST. Those letters match up with the picture. Okay, so the letter that is first is J, right? What's the first one and the other one?
R.
R. So angle J is congruent to angle R. And yes, you have to write it like that. Don't just put J and R together. You have to write that statement. Angle J is congruent to angle R. So then angle K is congruent to what?
S.
Angle S, because it's in the middle. Okay, and then angle L is congruent to
T.
angle T. Okay, it all lines up with the picture and that statement. Okay, so you can either look at the picture or you can just read the statement. Okay? Excuse me. So now we have 3 angles. Now we need 3 sides. And remember, sides are 2 letters. Okay, so start with the first 2 letters. We have JK. So JK is congruent to what? RS. We're still doing that same order. Okay? So now I'm going to do KL is congruent to ST. Make sure our phones are away. And then our last one, JL. What's that congruent to? RT. Yep. If you put, let's just use the first one as an example. I put J first, so that means I need to put R first. They need to match up, okay? So that's why I always say do the angles first and then do the sides, because then you know what comes first. Okay? Does that make sense reading it?
Yes.
Okay? They're all in the same order. Or you can look at the picture. But some mistakes can be made by just looking at the picture. Okay? So you're going to have 6 different things for all of those. Okay? Let's give you this statement here. And it's going to out another example here. Let's talk about these little markings real quick. These markings all mean congruent. Okay, so I'm going to start with my angles. So I'm going to start with the one that only has 1 arc. So angle B is congruent to angle D because it has that 1 mark also. Now I'm going to go to the 2 markings. Angle C is congruent to angle E. Now go to the 3 markings. Angle A is congruent to angle F. Angles, done. Check. Now we just move on to the sides. So this side has 1 tick mark, so we have BC is congruent to DE. The 2 markings, AB is congruent to FD. And then the 3 markings, AC is congruent to FE. Okay, so reading those different markings. On your homework, it's going to give you the congruency statement. Like it's have you make your own markings. Okay? Questions on reading the markings. Okay, so now it wants us to write a congruency statement. So that is saying this triangle is congruent to this triangle. But remember, you have to line them up correctly. Okay, so let me just start randomly. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle. What was the angle that we said went with A? What was the angle that went with A? F. What was the angle that went with B? D. And then E went with C. So we have to make sure they match up in that way. Okay? In that one, you can just look at the angles. Questions over that? Okay, go to this slide. So, it gives us our congruence statement, and it wants us to find the length of xz. Well, PR is congruent to what side on the other triangle? XZ. So, if PR is 10, what's XZ? 10. Okay. Over here, it says angle Y is 95. Well, what angle is congruent to Y in the other triangle? Q. So if Y is 95, Q is 95. Okay, so really it's all about reading this statement here. Capiche? All right, I want you guys to list all those congruent parts. Okay, start with the angles and then do your sides. So when it says list all congruent parts, it wants all those 6 different things. So start with angles. Give me one.
UST.
Angles.
S is equal to 1.
S is congruent to angle Y. Give me another other than Gabe.
Angle Z is congruent to angle U.
Angle Z is congruent to angle U. Okay, somebody else. What's the last one?
Angle T is congruent with X.
Good. Okay, starting with sides. Somebody else.
Side UST is congruent to.
Remember, sides are only 2 letters.
US to ZY.
Okay, somebody else.
UT is congruent to ZX.
What did you say? Sorry.
UT to ZX.
UT is congruent to ZX. What's the other one?
ST to XY.
ST is congruent to, careful, which angle goes with S?
Y.
Y, so it should be YX. There you go. Okay, how many of you looked at the statement? Raise your hand. How many of you looked at the statement?
I looked at the front page.
How many of you looked at the picture? You all looked at the picture? Okay.
I was at the front page.
No, I did these ones. Yeah, we did these.
Okay. This one. So it says AC is 3. Well, what does AC match on the other triangle? DF. So DF is also 3. Okay. And then it says angle E is 28 degrees. Well, which one does angle E match on the other triangle? B. So B is 28 degrees. Remember, reading these statements, they go hand in hand together. The order matches. Okay? What do you mean? Yep, that's all you have to do on those. What's your other question?
I was just asking, is it just matching on the homework today?
Yes.
How do we solve those?
Okay, now we need to write our congruent statement. Okay? So if you want, you could list all those 6 things and then go from there. But let's just look at it first. So I'm just going to write JKL. I picked a triangle. I just wrote the 3 letters in no particular order. But now, does the order matter for the other one?
Yes.
Yes. So which angle matches J?
N.
N. What matches K?
P.
What matches K?
P.
M. M matches K.
What? It shows it right there. Number C.
Those are options. Those are options.
What do you mean they're options?
Like, it's multiple choice.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we're not looking at those?
No. So J matches N, K matches M, L matches P. And that's our congruent statement. Okay? Any questions over section 5.1? Just writing statements and markings. Making connections.